Hey, Elizabeth here, and today I'm going to show you how to make bone broth. And I'm super excited. I've been waiting a long time to show you how to do this. I learned about bone broth through Dr. Axe, and that's A-X-E, and he's awesome. I love him. Okay, I love my husband more. We have a happy marriage. Right, Greg?
Yes, dear.
Yeah, see? Great marriage. Anyhow, so what were we talking about? Of course, bone broth. So, you can just Google Dr. Axe and he will tell you a list of health benefits by consuming bone broth. And there's a picture there of bone broth and what it looks like. So, what you need is a pot here. This is 3.9 liters, okay? And you're gonna need some bones. So he suggests chicken feet. This is part of the middle section of the chicken, but I usually do get chicken feet. I just haven't been able to find any lately. And they kind of look weird and creepy, so it'll totally gross your kids out. But here is some chicken. That's like the carcass of the chicken, a part of it anyway, not the whole thing. You threw that out. Sorry. Okay, so I also have here a Ziploc bag full of scraps of fruits and vegetables, mostly vegetable. So what you want to do is Dr. Axe will suggest that you can just get whole carrots and onions, garlic, and other really healthy vegetables and put it in here. But I thought it would be a great idea to use the skin of edible fruits and vegetables that you would normally throw in the garbage. So when you're making your meals and you're, cutting the skin off of carrots or something like that, and normally you throw them in the garbage, instead put them in a Ziploc bag. This is freezer large, gives you the measurements there, 26.8 centimeter by 27.3 centimeter. So this is what I use. That's the size. I'm not advertising for Ziploc, although I like them. But anyhow, so after however long it takes, maybe it'll take you a few weeks or a month to fill up a bag. But when you do, then you're going to use the whole content in here with your bones. So we'll go through this because it's easier to go through one bag. So I got here carrot skins. So you wash your carrots so that there's no dirt on them before you take the skin off, and then you just save it in here. This is garlic skin. Interesting about garlic skin and onion skin. Garlic skin is edible, but of course no one eats it. And onion skin is not really edible, but they do say in Google that you can put it in your stock. So make sure when you are Googling what is edible, what isn't edible, that you're looking at credible sources, because obviously not everything on Google is going to be accurate. So this is leek, the tough part that you throw out. I just did a quick Google and found that it is edible. It just is quite tough. So you can put the leek in there. This is actually a beef bone, and I've used this in the last 2 bone broths, and it's still really tough and I can't break it or anything. So I'm using it again. Hopefully there's still some more nutrients in it. I'm assuming that there is. This is pork chop bone, so that's in there. And lemon skin. So we got some. Now this is, I believe, thyme. So Dr. Axe says, throw in herbs. Well, instead of throwing in fresh herbs, when you pick the herbs off of the stems, just save the stems and put that in there too. Now beets are great. So this is the skin of beets. They have a lot of dirt on them, so please do a really good scrub of your beets before taking the skin off and putting it in. Now beets will make your bone broth really dark color. So just so that you're aware of that, because the picture that Dr. Axe shows, it's very, very light color, but my bone broth is super dark because I do a lot of beets. So anyhow, I'm going to put this all in here. Smash it in there really good. And you can see also I have from broccoli, the stem of broccoli. No one likes to eat the broccoli stems, so that's in there, and then it gets dumped out afterwards. So that's all in there, and then what we do is we fill this with water. So I'm going to come over here. Alright, put this over here. So I'm going to use the back burner, and let's see. So you're going to put that on high, and it's going to start to warm up there. So then what else you need is apple cider vinegar. So I buy organic, raw with the mother. So you gotta shake it up because it usually sits on the bottom. You need 2 tablespoons. So you're gonna want to measure it super accurate, like this. 1 and 2. Super accurate. Anyhow, then you'll need some salt and pepper. So I got Himalayan salt, the thing broke, so I just get some like that. Dump that in there. And pepper. I like pepper, so I use plenty of that. I use pepper a lot. I like pepper, so pepper. And that's it. It's going to come to a boil. And then when it comes to a boil, then we'll turn the heat down low to around a little above 2. Put the lid on it. And so this has to sit here for 48 hours. So that's 2 days. So at first you're going to feel awkward about leaving it there overnight, but that is what you should do. I keep a jar of water right here because with it sitting there for so long, the water will evaporate and it starts to get low. So then I just add more to make it nice and high like that. So every, 12 hours I would check to see where the level is there. So we're going to let this boil, and I will see you in a minute, and then after 48 hours we'll go to the next step. Okay, so as you can see here, it's just about to start to boil, and you don't want it to boil over. That happens to me a lot, so I try to keep a close eye on it. So it's really starting to get going with the boiling, and I don't want that to boil over, so I'm going to turn it down low right about here, and you want it to be at a simmer. So you want to see a little bit of bubbles coming up for the 48 hours, but not too many, and you don't want it to boil over. So now I'm going to put the lid on that, and then one more thing to mention about the bones is that you want to buy bones that are, maybe free-run chickens, antibiotic-free, hormone-free, organic, things like that. So if you get bones from people, if someone gives you a chicken, or you have chicken from takeout and a restaurant, you're not sure where they get their chicken from, then just throw those bones in the garbage and make sure that you're using these kind of bones that are much better for you. And yes, just if you see this, I did work at Cracker Barrel many moons ago. Great aprons, I love them. And so anyhow, we will be back in 48 hours. Again, I have it on the back burner, especially if you have small children. That's important. You don't want it up front for 48 hours. You want it back. So that's a good thing to do for when you got small kids. So we'll be back in 48 hours for the next steps for the bone broth. Hey, we're back. It's been 2 days. The house has been smelling like a homemade meal for 2 days, so it smells really good. But the only downside to that is it tends to make me hungry smelling it all the time. So here's the reveal of our bone broth. Been sitting for 2 days. Usually it's much darker than this. I don't think I had a lot of beets in it this time, the skin of beets, so there's some broccoli there. So we got the strainer, and we're going to strain it in here. So this actually, 8 cups, 2 quarts. That way you have an idea on how big that is. I know it looks great. I'm going to dump this out here for now, and then I'll go in the garbage, or if you have a compost, it can go in a compost. It's the beef bone. Right there. So I'm going to take that out, because I don't know if I'm going to reuse it or not. Okay, I think we got some, is that the chicken bone or a pork chop? You can see how the bone just smushes so easily. Okay, so this is the pork bone, and it's hot, but as you can see, it just crumbles, and bones don't normally crumble like that. So I'm pretty sure the apple cider vinegar is what's helping to draw out all of the minerals and healthy stuff in the bones there. So I know there's chicken bones in here too, somewheres. There, this is the chicken bone, but it's not the chicken feet, so these bones are much smaller. But when I use the chicken feet and they're thicker, they just crumble between your fingers. It's kind of cool to smash bone like that. So once I get the most of it in here like this, then I'm just going to pour it. It's messy, so be prepared for it to get messy on your counter. So right now, I'm going to do the messy part. Okay. Ouch. Hot. Okay. So that's the rest of that. So we strained it once, but now we're actually going to strain it a second time, because there's big pieces in there that you don't want to drink if you're going to be drinking it straight. So this is the beef bone I had earlier. It's still really hard to, oh, I guess it finally broke. So that's the beef bone. I'm not going to use that one anymore. I'm going to use a new one. So I have, this is supposed to be for tea. You can probably find one on Amazon. I got it at like a tea store. And I have here 4 jars, and they're labeled bone broth. I'll also put on the date, today's date. So then you're going to want like a little cloth here and another pitcher. Okay. Put it underneath like this. And now we're straining it a second time. There is going to be some fat. Can you see kind of like the bubbles that looks like beads? That would be the fat from the chicken or anything like that. And you can discard that if you like, because it will get hard and sit on the top, or you can just keep it in there. I keep it in there, I don't get rid of it. And then the muck will be in here that you'll want to toss out, because you're not going to want to drink that. So this is going to be much smoother without little gritty things in there. So I'm going to do that for the rest of these. And then after that, I put all of the jars in the freezer except for 2. I have one in the fridge for using it, and the other one in the fridge as the backup. And then as soon as I'm done using one jar, then I take another jar out of the freezer and start thawing. so that it's ready and thawed by the time I'm done the other jar that's in the fridge. Okay, so as you can see, I have the jars here, and this is how many jars we got. We got 3 jars and then a little bit of a 4th jar. You can see how dark that is. It's super dark. There's a lot of nutrients in there. You can let that cool down. Leave space for it to expand when you put it in the freezer, but let it cool down first. You don't want it to burst. And you can just drink it straight like this. You might have to develop the taste for it. It's, you won't love it the first time probably, but I really enjoy it. I feel like I had a real hearty meal after I drink that. It's great if maybe your stomach's not feeling well, and it helps you to get those nutrients that you need. And that's the bone broth that Dr. Axe talks about. And you can look it up, look up all the health benefits. It's definitely worth making it. And you can use it in all kinds of things, not just drinking it straight. You can put it in your rice. So instead of using all water, you can do half water and half bone broth. Or if you're making soup that calls for water, use half water, half bone broth. Or anytime you need to use water, if you think that you can use some of the bone broth instead, I would give it a try. So let me know if you like it, try it, and then tell me how it went. I would love to hear back from you if you've tried this out and what you think and the taste and everything. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and we will see you next week.